Okay, let's get the October graduation ceremony started. We have graduation ceremonies just about every month because of the fact that we start very, very frequently. So those of you that don't know that. My name is Bob Thacker. I'm the school president and director of Pennsylvania Gunsmith School. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate all of our guests and honored guests for coming to this ceremony. Pennsylvania Gunsmith School was formed in 1949 as a result of the World War II veterans. And as a result, that's why we are what we are. This morning I read an interesting statistic. And that statistic was in 1942, Franklin Roosevelt, the president, signed the GI Bill. And the question is, why did he sign the GI Bill? He signed the GI Bill in 1942 because he saw, prior to World War II, the depression that had ensued. And as a result of that depression, World War II brought us out of that depression. But he also saw the fact that there were going to be millions and millions of soldiers returning from the theater of combat in Europe and Africa and the Pacific. And he thought that there was going to be another depression. So they decided to write the GI Bill. And in 1949, this school was founded as a result of that. In addition to that, there were many other career and trade schools. We called them trade schools at the time. Today we call them career schools. But they were formed at that period of time. You know, another interesting statistic, that GI Bill in 8 years trained 8 million people. 1/3 of those people were trained in colleges and universities. 2/3 of them, think about that, 66% were trained in on-the-job training and in trade schools. So when you think about the founding of education, now, we weren't founded, obviously, with some of the old colleges and universities, but we were founded as a result of that GI Bill. You know, we're very fortunate to have Douglas Education here. It has a great filmmaking program, been in operation for over 100 years, relatively new filmmaking program, comparatively to 100 years. But schools like us are here because of that. So thank you for coming today. We appreciate you being here and to honor our graduates. And for the first time in PGS history, we're going to have honorary graduate or graduates. So first time in our history. So thank you for being a part of this. To my left and to your right is our instructional staff. If you guys would kindly stand, please stand. On the far right, you'll see Brian Powley. He is a master engraver with the Firearms Engravers Guild of America. I'm very prejudiced. I believe he is the best engraver in the world.
Not wrong.
Thank you, Brian, for being modest. Engraving has become part of our checkering and engraving course. What's interesting is that our school was part of 4 different schools, and one of those schools was the Thacker Academy of Engravers and Jewelers. So we are bringing that part of that history back here to PGS. So thank you, Brian, for bringing that back. Next to him is Jamie Wojtasik, and Wojtasik is spelled common spelling, just so you know. Don't worry about that. He is our director of instruction. Been with us for about 6 years, roughly, and has brought us into a lot more modern design with gunsmithing. So thank you for that, Jamie. Next to him, the man who has the most tenure here is Jim Smith. He is our machine tool instructor, training people in very precise machining trades with milling machines and lathes and grinders, and very precise. Next to him, our newest staff member is Brooks Norton, who brings the modern technology to the plate and knows AR-15s inside and out, and also knows the AK-47s. But in addition to that, he knows a lot of custom work. Next to him is our drill sergeant, He's shaking his head because he is. Marine Corps is Rob Brose. He is our semester 1 instructor at PGS in alternative finishes, relatively new part of finishing firearms for us. So thank you, Rob. And last but not least is Zachary Duran, and he is our semester 2 instructor. He's very versatile, by the way. He has been in and worked in all different semesters here in the program, and brings a great dynamic here to PGS. Plus, his dad is also president of the American Custom Gunmakers Guild, so he brings that little bit of flavor to us. So, okay, guys, have a seat. They'll be presenting the awards and the diplomas today. So, 2 years ago, we had a graduation ceremony. And we usually don't have keynote speaker. We're a small school. We just have a few graduates. And usually Jamie or myself gives a keynote speech. But we had a graduate who, his wife was running for state representative. And kind of off the cuff, I said, and it was off the cuff, wasn't it? Why don't you give us a keynote speech? And she did such a fantastic job. I had to invite her to come back and share a few words with us. So would you please help me welcome State Representative Tracy Pennycook.
So Bob is not wrong. 2 years ago, actually 3 years ago now, I was asked to run for state rep, and I said, Rick was living out here in a basement apartment that looked like a hovel. And he was complaining about having to make his own handmade tools in the first week with all these young kids because he was a grandfather. And he said, I don't know that this is right for me. Wait a minute, you're 5 hours away and I'm getting a little bit of break from Fox News. You are staying in gunsmithing school. And so we came out for Christmas and we were talking to Bob, and Bob was my first donation. And it was COVID, so how do you raise money during COVID? You build an AR, you Cerakote it red, white, and blue, Trump 2020, and you raffle it. And you make a lot of money. And people go, how'd you make money? I'm like, guns. My husband's a gunsmith. So I truly do not know if people really like me as I run for state senate, or if they just go, hey, that's the chick whose husband's a gunsmith? You need to get to know her. Because literally people are like, hey, could you help me out with this? Just leave the ammo in the trunk of your car. I'll leave you a check. So people ask me what I do when I'm not a legislator. I'm like, oh, I'll tell you. I'm an arms dealer. I own it. They go, how do you feel about the Second Amendment? I totally own it. I am all about the Second Amendment. But I will tell you that the trade industry and trade schools is so critical to our future in Pennsylvania. We have for generations pushed college as the only path. Well, that's not the only path. I spent 26 years in the military. I spent 4 years enlisted because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Best decision I ever made was to spend 4 years in the military figuring out what I wanted to do, and then figuring out that I wanted to go back and be a helicopter pilot. Okay, maybe that's not the smartest thing I've ever done, but I had a lot of fun. But the reality is, trade schools, we don't do a good job in Pennsylvania of promoting and educating our youth about trade schools. And we've got to do better. These kids that have an opportunity to come to PA Gunsmithing School, what an opportunity. We own our own shop. We've been in business for a year, and we are overwhelmed with work. I mean, it's just, there's not enough hours in the day. And the reality is, young kids today are going to college because their parents say, oh, you gotta go to college, and they're so far in debt, and they cannot figure out their path forward. And then a couple of them came to Pennsylvania Gunsmithing School after they got that philosophy degree. That's working for them. And the reality is we have to do a better job. Pennsylvania just put an additional pot of money, you know, because we're spending money like it's water, because it just comes, Biden bucks, they just come, they just show up. But we're putting more money to trade schools, and we have to do a better job of making sure that trade schools have the resources that you need, that students have the ability to go. So I have a bill that didn't go anywhere because, well, it didn't go anywhere. That would take the money that we give, $600 million, lots of money, your taxpayer dollars, $600 million are going to our non-preferred schools. And that's, Temple, Pitt, Penn, etc. $600 million. I want to see that money go to the parents. So when their son or daughter comes to them and says, hey, I want to go to cosmetology school, I want to go to Pennsylvania Gunsmithing School, they have the resources to go, and the parents are empowered to help make those decisions. So that's about that. The second part of my conversation today is about veterans, near and dear to my heart. I honestly don't know how at 17 I could have done what you did, sir. I have been to Dachau with my children, tears streaming down my face because I could not comprehend such evil. So I am so thankful that on the third wave, 18 days in, I want you to think about that, 18 days, as my husband said, there's nowhere for cover on Omaha Beach or on Utah Beach. The fact that on the third wave you went is such an incredible testament to your selfless service and your service to our country that is so rare in this time. We only have 1% that serve right now, but your legacy will always remain because your selfless service translates to the next generation, because we always study our history in the Army. We never forget. And we looked, as a young lieutenant, I looked at the stories of World War II, and I captured that in my head, and I kept it in my soul. My aunt and uncle were both World War II veterans. My aunt was a nurse. My uncle was a battlefield commission from sergeant to second lieutenant when his lieutenant was killed. We continue to remember the history of those that served before us, and we take that with us into the next battlefield. I was a young 25-year-old lieutenant when I went to Desert Storm, and I had an old crotchety Vietnam veteran with me, and he said, this is not my war. My war is done. This is your war. But he taught me everything I needed to know about brownout conditions, about lowering my seat and taking my chicken plate off and sitting on it so I didn't get shot in the butt. I got it. I totally understood what that meant. Fast forward to Iraq and Afghanistan, I was the old guy with the young 21-year-old kid who went to flight school right out of high school. And he's like, man, you look kind of old. I'm like, today's my 40th birthday. Thank you for asking. But the reality is we maintain and store that knowledge of those that have served before us, and it makes us the best fighting force on this earth. And we will always be the best fighting force on this earth because we honor our veterans. We take their stories and we take their experiences and we take their lessons learned and we incorporate it in what we're doing in the next battlefield. And we give our soldiers every tool they need to be successful. And sometimes it's not just being successful as a soldier. Everybody gets out. You never think you're going to get too old. You never think your back's going to hurt. You never think your knees are going to give out, but you get out. And then you become, in your case, all gunsmiths. But I watch you continue to mentor. I watch my husband to continue to mentor these young kids that come in. He's got an apprentice. He makes $10 an hour. It's embarrassing. We pay him $10 an hour so he can learn how to be a gunsmith. First week, he cleaned the shop. Best $10 an hour I've ever spent. Push that broom, kid. But it's the lessons learned, and that's what's so critical about veterans. And I love that veterans come here. I love that you guys build this bond. We come back, and we're still welcomed back by everyone who's here. And that's what's so unique about Pennsylvania Gunsmithing School, is that it is truly a family. And what you guys are producing here is top notch. You can just tell when people go, oh, where'd your husband go to gunsmithing school? Pennsylvania Gunsmithing School. You've been? The brown building? Yes. No sign, brown building, no parking. That, everyone knows it. Literally everybody knows it. No, he did not get his gunsmithing license online. Oh, that's impressive. Yeah, okay. But that's the reality, is you guys have something so special here and so unique. And the fact that you honor the veterans that come here and continue to make it possible. And we talked earlier about the government wants to make it impossible for veterans to come. Let me tell you, I will be there every step of the way making sure that never happens. This has to be an opportunity for veterans to explore what they love. What veteran does not love guns? What police officer, fire, rescue, they all love their guns. That's the reality. But the talent in this room, second to none. I've seen what you guys produce. I own what you guys produce. My children own what you guys produce. It's unbelievable. And I've got two amazing people that own my M4s that were produced with 2020, and they're on display in corporate headquarters of a Pennsylvania company, which is phenomenal. And it says built by Pennsylvania Gunsmithing School, which is awesome. So congratulations on your diplomas today. Congratulations to Pete 1 and Pete 2 on your honorary graduates. I have to give Pete 2 a shout out because he was smart enough to send the Harvard degree back. You gotta worry when people cannot tell you what a woman is. Just saying. So on that happy note, congratulations. I'm really proud of you guys. If you come out to the eastern part of the state, we would love to have you. We would love to see you. We love to see you guys at gunsmithing shows, and we're always happy to display your work. And if you ever come to the Capitol, we do have Second Amendment caucus once a month. We're always happy to display your work. Trade show days, there's all kinds of opportunity. Because the reality is, and I just had this, and this is an afterthought, I just had this experience where a very attractive black woman and 3 other gentlemen appeared before the Second Amendment caucus and the Black Caucus. She's about this big, and she said, I'm an NRA instructor, and I want to open my own gun shop, because if you think I'm going to continue to let my fellow sisters be raped, murdered, and assaulted, you're nuts. I conceal carry everywhere I go. I'm an NRA instructor, and I love my guns. I like her. I'm sticking with her. That's the reality. That is our reality today. Women are loving their guns. So get ready for pink camouflage. Get ready for a little Cerakote, whatever works for you. But you guys are amazing, and I'm so happy to be here, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy, for your support of career schools, veterans, and our program. Our first graduate on his journey through our program showed great motivation into completing his projects during his time here. He performed a tremendous amount of projects that showed a great dedication in performing as many operations and techniques as possible. He met and exceeded all of the expectations put upon him by the school. I'd like everybody to welcome up Jack Roberson. During Jack's time in semester 4, he is the current record holder for the number of repairs completed. Thank you, Jack.
A graduate that was very creative, showed a lot of proficiency in every subject that the school had to offer. In addition to honing his skills with his 4th semester projects, please welcome Kurt Bauman up to the podium. Kurt was in, from the time he got here in 1st semester, he kind of developed a lot with laser engraving, which has broadened to a lot of his fellow veterans as well as law enforcement in his local area, which has helped him with a lot of vets. He does a lot of charity work for vets as well. Congratulations.
The next graduate showed extreme thoroughness, from whether it be a general cleaning to his custom bolt action or custom 1911. There was nothing he forgot, anywhere along the way. Attention to detail is, all of us should look up to that standard. So would you please help me welcome Joe Snyder.
Our next graduate is someone that when he was here, in my part of the course in particular, showed incredible competence. Everything that he did it easily. Nothing was difficult for him. He made it look like it was so simple. And he was a great mentor to a lot of our other students. He's been a big help to us all, and I see a bright future for him in this business. He's always going to be a credit to the school's history, as Tracy was so kind to talk about, as well as helping everybody that he can along the way. Let's hear it for Dennis Morris.
Okay. Competence, creativity, motivation, thoroughness, all great qualities of American craftsmen. This school has been producing them for generations, and who knows, maybe the next John Browning's in here, right? We heard a lot about veterans today and how important they are to the nation and the society. They're also incredibly important to the Pennsylvania Gunsmith School. Our veteran students are leaders, and they show great work ethic and pace to some of the young kids that grow up in here that haven't been a part of the military, and we have to thank them for that too. You know, some of these guys through their military and civilian career backgrounds have been ingrained with putting customers' needs, wants, and desires first. And with those goals, it makes it the bedrock of their success. This is evident by all 4 of these graduates coming up again to receive honors awards. So let's welcome all again up here. Mr. Dennis Morris. Mr. Jack Roberson. Slide down. Mr. Curtis Bauman. Come on, Joe. Snyder. It's through their incredible work ethic, quality of work, and grades that they get to stand up here, all as honors graduates. So another round of applause.
Picture yourself with an M1. Picture yourself 18 years old, scared because you know that you're going to go into a theater of operation where you might not come back. Picture that in your mind. Millions of American men and women went into a theater of battle that we can only picture because we've never been there. Can you imagine the fright, the fear, the worry? But at that time period, none of those people that I have ever met ever were worried about what I just said. They were only concerned about us. They were only focused on us. They only cared about us because they cared about our freedom. They cared about life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That's all they were concerned about. And as a result, how many thousands and millions gave their lives so that you and I could sit here and be in a program of study that supports the Second Amendment, a given right in our Constitution. All of us are incredibly grateful to those people that served, especially in World War II. We in our history have never ever given away honorary diplomas, ever. But this is the time. There is a time and place for everything, just as there was a time and place for the invasion of Normandy. And it's now all of our great pleasure, all of our history of our school, 73 years, to present an honorary Master Gunsmithing Program Diploma, an honorary Sporting Arms Ordnance Technician graduation degree to Harry Pete W. Shaw.
Normally the first
Please
one
have a seat.
that has a lot of awards. And I happen to be one of the highest decorated veterans of Pennsylvania. Even though I'm in Ohio, but Pennsylvania is my heart. And there's nothing more I appreciate more than this. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you for everything that you did. When you signed up to go into the service at a very young age, you signed the ultimate price, and that price was your life. Thank you for doing that, sir. We are all honored by
I
you.
appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir. You know, honor is something that is not earned. Honor is given. Honor is given to people because of the things that they have done. And the next person that will receive an honorary diploma has honored career schools through their service, not only to their country, through military service, but in honor of all trade and career schools. A number of years ago, this person and I talked about an honorary degree at Pennsylvania Gunsmith School, and we were kind of jesting back and forth. And it was a jesting back and forth. But you know, it is so true. If you think about some of those words that were said earlier, that 2/3 of those people who had used the GI Bill were in some form of private education and career education. That's where the bedrock of this country is. And this next graduate that you're going to see coming up, honorary degree, supports education in the trades more than any person that you will know. Also, in addition to that, gave 12 years so far of service to their country. Would you please help me welcome the man that started all of this a couple of years ago, Major Pete Hegseth.
Bob, thank you very much. I remember making that comment, walking through the school, saying, I should get a degree, but if I don't, do you do honorary degrees? As a total joke, as an absolute joke, and it was part of, I was a part of Veterans for Career Education. We were touring the country, going to career, vocational, career schools. And I was blown away by what those schools do for the next generation, and specifically what this school did, the Pennsylvania Gunsmith School. The professionalism, the commitment to a trade, to bettering that trade, to vets, to skills, to careers, to the next opportunity, to the next chapter of service for guys. And never forgot it, stayed in touch with Bob, and I'll say, I did recently, so it was mentioned earlier, I recently, on national television, broke open a other diploma that I had, pulled the diploma out of it with a Sharpie and wrote return to sender. And I folded it up and mailed it back to that college. And that college was Harvard University, where I got a master's in public policy. I don't want a degree from Harvard University. I don't want to help perpetuate what they're doing in that school, indoctrinating and poisoning the minds of American kids. I want no part of it. I don't want to elevate myself because of it. I don't want the association. I don't want people to think I'm an expert because of it. Every day of the week, I would rather hire someone from the Pennsylvania Gunsmith School than from Harvard University. And I mean that. And I will tell that, and I have 7 kids, and I will tell that to my 7 kids. I never thought I would say that sentence in my life. Where we are as a country, where we are as an economy, where we are as a people, where we are with freedom and faith, the Second Amendment, I will encourage them to go get a skill, to be productive, to start a business. I was talking about the business you're starting, to start a business and be a bedrock of your community. I just moved from New Jersey to Tennessee. Now in New Jersey, I had a great guy's name. He was at he was at Monmouth Arms. He helped me out there. But you had to make like 9 modifications to your AR in New Jersey for it to be legal. Pin the buttstock and do all this other stuff. And he did the best he could for me. So then I moved down to north of Nashville and went to the local gun shop. Great guys, all run by the local cops. And I said, hey, do you have I need to get my, buttstock unpinned and all these, I need to make it a real gun again. And they said, there's only one gunsmith and you're going to be waiting months. And there was that realization of how, which you spoke so eloquently about. There's a need for this. There's a demand for this. There's a lot of money to be made doing this. And there's the protection and defense of our republic in the Second Amendment that is a portion of this as well. I've got this degree, and I'll tell you the only thing I know how to do with a rifle is sports. Slap, pull, observe, release, tap, squeeze. All right? That's pretty much the limit of my rifle knowledge as a former infantryman in the Army. But man, do I have an appreciation for what you guys and gals do. The profession of arms that you're a part of. This country needs you. I couldn't be more proud. I told my wife this morning when I left Tennessee, I said, I'm going to hang this sucker up right in the middle of the most important room we have in the house, and you don't have anything to say about it. Which I usually can't do. So Bob, I want to thank you for what you do, not just here, but for career schools across the country, elevating that, getting it out of the minds of people that it's only colleges and universities that are the path for young people. There are amazing careers and great schools like this that I want to continue to highlight with you. So I look forward to sharing this on Fox and Friends with our audience, saying I have replaced my Harvard degree with a much more valuable one. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Pete, for sharing those powerful words. Appreciate that very much. And it is the bedrock of our nation, private career schools. Thanks to Douglas Education in the back of the room for doing the filming and the student crew. We are very, very appreciative of you being here. And thank you to all of our guests, in particular Jeremy Schaefer running in the 17th District. Thanks, Jeremy, for coming. And of course, Tracy, you know, I don't know whether you caught her or not, she's not running for representative anymore. She's running for Senate, Pennsylvania Senate. So she's going up a slight notch. So thanks for coming. And my good friend Rudy Agris from Triangle Tech, and everyone else that's here. So if I missed you, please forgive me for not introducing you. So, I just saw Tracy tapped Colonel Richard Pennycook. So thank you for
He's
coming.
household 6 now.
Okay,
In case you're curious.
there you go.
I got a real job.
Okay. We're going to take pictures of our graduates up here in this area, kind of by the flag. We're going to do that. Our guests, we have refreshments. Please see our admin staff for some refreshments that we have as well, but we'll do the pictures first. So one last time, let's have our 6 graduates. Pete, 5 graduates. You stay right there, Pete. Would you kindly stand? Let's give them one more.